What's up guys, welcome to Monchkinz Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Monchkinz logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and welcome back to another video guide. In today's video, we are going to take a look at the latest Equinox event for the global version of the game. This is 1 out of 3 LUFENIA fights that is currently running, and this is going to concentrate on the Gallicinium LUFENIA. I hope I pronounced that right. But anyway, before we do start, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel, guys, and I really do appreciate it. And without further ado, let's start this video. Alright, as always, we'll start this off in how you're going to deal with the LUFENIA orb, which appears at less than 80% and less than 30% of the boss's HP. This does disappear when you hit less than 50% and will increase by 2 when the target has 4 or more debuffs. So debuffers like Sarah, Kadaj, who can actually have the golden debuff, and Sephiroth, who has that golden debuff as well, which they can't cleanse. So if you can apply that, you can just have to apply one more or a couple more debuffs. So I added Sephiroth there just because he can do the golden debuff, just so you don't have to worry too much about at least one of them. Ferris and Shantoto are obviously your other choices when it comes to debuffers, and there's a whole lot more. Now, how does this fight work? There's a lot of mechanics in this fight, so forgive me for the wall of text, but there's a lot to cover here. So first off, the boss has 2 modes, which is the ground mode and the air mode. Now the ground mode, he will summon 2 adds, and these adds will have their own LUFENIA orbs. However, you cannot increase the LUFENIA orb counter with these adds, so don't even bother trying to apply debuffs, because all you have to do really is to kill them before the time runs out. Next, the boss does apply some frame debuffs when you hit less than 70, 50, and 30% of its HP. And these have a HP poison, and I think you have an HP damage up debuff as well that is mixed in with this one, and a brave poison as well, I believe. So there's quite a lot of debuffs that you are going to be taking. So the other thing here is when the boss does reach less than 50% of its HP, it will remove all your party buffs and apply the debuffs at the same time. So that is something you will need to look out for, because you will have to make sure that you're quite ready to reapply your buffs. Now, there is a very annoying mechanic with this boss, because if the boss has more than 4 debuffs, it will use oil injection whenever it switches modes, or every 10 actions you take. So what is oil injection? Basically, this cleanses the debuffs that you have applied, which is very annoying, especially if the LUFENIA orb is up. The boss also switches mode from airborne to ground mode every 5 turns, consecutive actions you take, and it will go from air mode to ground mode, from ground mode to airborne every 10 turns. So there's a lot of things going on here as well, and while it's on air mode, it will be immune to delays. So after hearing all this information, how are you gonna deal with this fight? Well, honestly, this is a lot shorter than how the fight works. Basically, first of all, kill the adds as soon as possible. And if you have splash damage, please use the splash damage, because you only have 70 turns to beat this boss. Also, remove the debuffs. If you have cleansers, use them to your advantage, or you can, throw it back to the boss, but I do believe it is immune to one of those debuffs. So anyway, all you have to really do here is cleanse and make sure you are healed and topped up, or if you're like me, you just went with a HP regen, so that you're not taking too much damage and delay the heck out of this boss. But essentially, you just have to really manage the LUFENIA orb, which is the most annoying thing with this fight. As I mentioned, it does cleanse the debuffs every other turn, whenever it switches modes, or every 10 turns. Basically, it will remove it. And when the LUFENIA orbs is counting down, it's like, hey man, I can't deal with this. I think I had issues with this boss, more so in managing the LUFENIA orb more than anything else, because sometimes it would switch, you know, annoyingly at some turn that I didn't want it to. Okay, so now let's move on to characters that you can bring. Now, again, you can just pause in this video and look at the characters, but there's so much more characters that it's gonna be a whole list. But the key here is having, obviously, characters that can debuff and that can cleanse your own debuffs as well. Those are the most important key issues in this fight. Now, as for Cole characters, I would really highly suggest bringing like Cole characters that can apply multiple debuffs, such as Ferris, Lion, Gabranth, Caius, Sarah as well can do apply a little bit of debuffs here and there. Especially if you are like me, who didn't bring a dedicated debuffer in this fight. But you know, I'll leave that up to your own discretion. Alright, now let's talk about party compositions. The first one is obviously the video that you guys are seeing right now, which consists of Cloud of Darkness, Garland, and Porom. And as you might have noticed, I don't have a dedicated debuffer. However, my Cole team basically has debuffs for days. A total of 6 complete full-on more than 4 debuffs applied. At least, no, 5 I think. I believe Lion's first Cole isn't a fully debuff, but in any case, Porom can still apply the, you know, the 4th debuff if need be. But essentially, I relied a lot on my Coles when it comes to reapplying those debuffs. And of course, you've got Cloud of Darkness as my support here as well, and Ramuh for this summon. Now, the next team I have here is actually the first team I use in this fight until I decided to redo the fight and use core somewhere else. So core, Tidus, Paladin, Cecil, Kurasami, Gabranth, and Ferris for the call, and support I went with Cloud of Darkness once again and Ramuh for the summon. Tidus basically fills in 3 debuffs, and basically Paladin and Cecil can fill in the 4th one, you know, with his Holy Imperil. So I know the boss is resistant to the range attacks, but thanks to Paladin Cecil, it can sort of be negated with his C65 skill, which can, you know, give you the Holy Enchant, and especially he can, you know, imperil the Holy Element that bypasses that. Now, the last team I have for you guys is Penelo, Tifa, and Terra. The Cole team for this one is Lion, Sarah, and Ferris with a Cloud of Darkness support, and Odin for the summon. Now, Penelo can obviously remove the debuffs, Tifa for that insane single target damage, and you got Terra for your I guess to deal with the ads on this one. And just in case, you've got a couple of Coles here that can apply the debuffs once again. And I mean, Cloud of Darkness, I would suggest using Cloud of Darkness early on when you're using her as your support, so you don't really have to worry about it. She can do as much damage as she can early on before all the, you know, mechanics start stacking up on you. Alright guys, so we're finally towards the end of this video, and of course I'll give you guys my final thoughts regarding the fight. First of all, this is an annoying fight. I had to do this quite a few times, and like I said earlier, I actually had to change the team. So I had to do it all over again with a different team because I wanted to use core somewhere else. But yeah, this is probably one of the most annoying LUFENIA fights because of the mechanics, and to be honest, it's about time we actually got something challenging, right? So yeah, for me, this is one of the many challenging LUFENIA fights that we've had recently. I don't know how many times I had to redo this and change things up. Obviously, I tried to do these runs kind of blind. I just look at the LUFENIA thing and I don't really look at how the mechanics work and blah 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 until I experienced it myself. So In speaking of all the information that you guys are seeing here, much of it is in the link down in the description below in DissidiaInfo.com. It's thanks to who is it? I forgot the name who actually did this, Scott on 11. So thank you very much for all the information that he's provided in this one. And I always leave, I know I don't say this enough, but I always leave in the description below all the information, you know, the sources where I got this information, and some of these information are from my own experience as well. So if you don't see any, you know, sources down in the description, it just means I pretty much use my own experience on that one. But you will most likely see some in you know, sources down there. So anyway, I think I will end the video right here. Yeah, I think I will. And so leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help the channel, and I would really appreciate it if you can share this video to a fellow Dffoo player who is struggling right now to beating these LUFENIA fights, and hopefully they can check out my other videos in the channel to try and beat some of the LUFENIA fights that we've had recently. Also, if you guys are looking forward to the next video, which is the next LUFENIA fight, I'm going to try my best to release them like one video every day. It just really depends how busy I am at work and how tired I am, and as a matter of fact, I am very tired right now, but I'm still doing these videos, so hopefully you guys do enjoy it. Make sure to follow me on on Facebook and on Twitter at Monchkinz Gaming. This is Monchkinz logging off. Oh, don't forget to leave down in the comments below what team you use for this fight. Let me know down there, and if you have any different suggestions or strategies, leave down in the comments below as well. This is Monchkinz logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next level.